I'm Professor Sally Eaves. It's a real pleasure to be here today with Patrick Nicolay, who's the Chief Technology Officer at Capgemini. Lovely to be here and talk today. I think it'd be fantastic to really dive into the ecosystem perspective and why that matters so much for business and technology going forward.
So why this concept of ecosystem? First, we see big needs in society, be it around climate, be it around how to live in these megacities, be it around the mobility.
Indeed.
That requires the deployment of new technology solution. The good news, though, is that there is abundance of technology in order to address, which sometimes is more than a need. When you think of climate, it's an imperative.
Absolutely.
So the result, how will it be deployed ultimately? And that's where the notion of ecosystems becomes important. You will not deploy these technologies in the current industry sector construct. I give you one simple example, very high level. If you look at an automotive companies today, it is built around three assets: the engineering,
Yes.
the supply chain, including manufacturing capabilities, the distribution, including the brands.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, it will be electric, it will be autonomous, it will be connected, and it will be a lot about services. Because if you're in an autonomous car, you will not drive, you will be driven, and you will have some services such as entertainment. If you
Indeed,
think of the development of companies such as HoloRide, building in-car entertainment, quite advanced, by the way. And so if you're a company today, you have your assets, and then you say, okay, how am I going to play going forward? And we already have this type of questions. And it's about the business model, and it's about the technologies where you have to invest. And the challenge is how agile will you be in order that you can embark, engage, scale, or stop, go out, and redeploy.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the questions we see a lot at the moment is data as currency. What do you think about where the value in data actually really is? I have a view beyond that, and I think you do too. It'd be great to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, what we hear more than this is data as an asset. And in fact, you won't see data on the balance sheet because it doesn't have a value you can put on it. If I look at a building, my building at least has the cost of construction.
Yes.
So I can at least put the cost of construction. Try to identify the cost of generating a data. It's impossible. So you cannot. So the value of data will come through the monetization of it, which will define. And I firmly believe, and we're building our agenda around this within Capgemini, that data, in fact, as you said, is the currency of this ecosystem. So and that's why we advise our clients to really get the grip on their data, get control of their data, because it will be the currency. You will deploy two things in these ecosystems. Obviously, your data, capital is available today. And then your skills, and we can come back on this. But the data is really your currency, but you must be able to allocate a certain amount of currency to a certain type of ecosystems, remove it, generate and monetize the value. So this will be, and why it will be the currency, because today, when you look at data in manufacturing, for instance, we speak of digital twin.
Yes.
When you have a complex system, it's hard to manipulate. Take a rocket. So you create a digital twin, and you say, okay, I have my digital twin. I can play around. It's harmless. I can do a lot of mistakes. Doesn't cost a lot of money. Everybody's happy. The reality is that now with notably IoT, but everything, the deployment of sensors, etc., you will have a digital twin of almost your entire reality. You will have a digital twin of your street, of your of the environment in which we live, and that creates the impact of data, and explain why I believe it will become the currency, because you have so much available.
great points there. I think one other thing I wanted to ask you about was what about the democratization opportunity of data as well? So as we spoke about before in Morocco, a real opportunity for data to be used for social impact opportunity and really building a kind of shared value ecosystem. And I wondered if you had any perspectives on that you'd like to share.
There will be shared value, otherwise the ecosystem wouldn't exist.
Yes.
And it will be defined by the purpose, be it sustainability, be it inclusion as well. But I think before we get there, beyond the data point, which can be managed through different technologies, we didn't develop, but there are different ways of doing it. You will also have to have the leadership and the workforce capable of operating in such agile environment. And I think we have a big challenge that can possibly prior this question of shared value is how do we build the workforce, the leadership that is capable of managing this moving environment and going into an ecosystem, understanding a certain logic, playing with it, than realizing it's not exactly what it was meant to be, and then deciding, okay, we need to get out. I take my data, but I take my people as well, and then I redeploy them. And I think technology will help as well in this endeavor. AI obviously will be a big contributor to the ability to manage it. But then the question is, we've been thriving in the current construct on the amount of expertise that we were deploying. Going forward, and if you think of a lot of AI-enabled operations, then the question is very much about not only your creativity, not only the empathy you can bring into the systems, but your ability to identify the right questions. And that's where we have some transformation to do upfront.
As you know, I very much believe in STEAM learning, so bringing creativity and emotional intelligence and empathy, as you mentioned, and in really embedding trust for everything we do. And I think it's that alignment between culture and technology coming together that will give us that kind of ambidextrous organisation that you were talking about that can power the ecosystems that you were also describing. So I think that's kind of maybe a way to bring all those different elements together. And from your point of view, from a skills challenge, where do you see the biggest challenges at the moment? Because I think there are certain gaps from a technology point of view, for example, AI or cybersecurity, probably the top two, also blockchain. But just going forward, what do you think maybe needs to happen within organisations to bring that holistic learning into the culture?
I think the first, one size will not fit all. You cannot think that you will transform your organization to address it, and you don't need it. Because there is this element where everything we do today will continue. And so you have to continue your roadmap towards, let's say, distributed IT. That's where we have embarked. And then, if I take this as an example, embark on decentralized technology. Decentralized technology is a different architecture. You will do things differently. These are not the same people. So the question is, how fast do you want to scale? This will be driven by your ability not only to master, but also to invest in different technologies, because there are still investment cycles with depreciation cycles as well that goes with it. But also how much revenue you will continue to generate the way you generate revenue today. And it's not saying, oh, this is the future, I bet all. No, it's how you're going to manage dynamically these cycles and make sure that you can capitalize on your market position, where, how, and then do deployment more, I wouldn't say in a startup mode, but with dedicated resources that you can build in an agile mode. But don't think I don't believe your entire organization will become agile over time.
I think that's a very fair point. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. I think that's excellent. I think really brings to the fore the importance of an ecosystem perspective for the future of business, technology and society. And within that technology, the skills element and the data element massively are foregrounded. So thank you very much for your time. Really lovely to talk to you.
Thank you.
Real pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.